Welcome to the O Brother Podcast. I'm your host, Dan Smith. Alongside me, as always, my brother from the same mother, Mr. Mike Smith.
I thought you were going to say Mr. Microphone.
Mr. Microphone. We got a great big convoy. Ain't she a
Not go
beautiful
to the
sight?
night.
I think when I say that now, it really
Ain't she a
is.
beautiful sight.
It really is The Simpsons that I'm thinking about.
I think so.
And what is the character again from The Simpsons
That does it? That sings
that does it? Yeah.
It's Homer.
Well, it's Homer, but isn't there? Aren't they in a car? And
No,
he's in with some of the other characters or something.
he gives it to Bart as a birthday gift, and Bart thinks it's the worst present ever. And Homer's like, "This I would have been loved to get this gift," and Bart's like, "Here you go." So Homer starts, "We got a great man," and Marge is like, "I can't hear you with all the distortion." "Okay, good looking. We'll be back to get you later."
We'll be back to pick you up later.
So we're live here.
We're live, yeah.
Don't expect company, but
well, this has been a long-standing thing with you. It's like, we got to wait till we get 15,000 subscribers.
No,
it's not how it works. You get out, you talk to the people.
We've been doing a lot of first looks lately.
That's correct.
Because we've watched series. Both of us have watched various series. I'm on the last season of M. Night Shyamalan's
your
Servant.
Your attempt at his name
I don't
just
know. Well, you say it. I just said it.
M. Night
good.
Shyamalan. I think you're like Ramalama Ding Dong. I don't know what you
I was
say.
close.
Yeah, I suppose you were
close. It's a tough name, but
it's a tough name. Yeah. Well, we were going to jump on and talk about
Mando.
The Mando, yeah, Mandalorian,
because we've both
season 3 now.
We've seen all of season 3 so far, which is pretty big investment.
That's true. We're on top
we're
of
32
here.
minutes in.
Yeah, so it's March 4th, 2023 here at the O Brother Podcast. Yeah, so Mandalorian season 3, episode 1, The Apostate, was just out, and I guess the original air date was March 1st, right? That was correct. Wednesday, March 1st. And you and I, we did a what do you call it? A share play, a watch play, share
first
watch.
Look. We did a first look.
Well,
way back.
No. When we watched it together, remember we were watching the episode at the same time.
Yeah. You can. What do they?
Disney Plus has this. What do they call it? Share play or something?
Yeah, share play. Other services have it.
Watch
too.
party? I don't know.
Yeah, different services call it something different.
Yeah.
But I saw it on Movies Anywhere as well. It was like, do you want to watch this with someone?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like for lonely people who like.
This is for all the lonely people.
But yeah, I sent you a link. You got on, and we didn't talk through the episode. We just watched it together.
Yeah.
In synchronicity, I guess is the.
It's a good Police album.
Yeah, and
we had very different initial impressions of that.
I liked it.
I couldn't believe, because shout out to the Rebel Force Radio podcast. Those guys are, try not to step into that territory because they're the only ones that know how to do it when it comes to Star Wars.
We had one of them on the show.
We had Jimmy Mack. Yeah. Jim McInerney was on that was such a highlight for me on the podcast. And he was a great interview and just so generous with his time. But Jason Swank, his co-host, they had mentioned right at the jump of their live stream, they do at the end of, right after every Mando episode, they do a watch and an after show. And Jason said, I think he said it was 801 days since we had seen The Mandalorian.
I was surprised by that.
Mandalorian itself, right? We had Book of Boba Fett.
Right. And Andor. So we had things to watch in the universe.
Series. Yeah.
But no Mandalorian. That was a big break.
I had to go back. I had to go back and watch the last episode of season 2, which was called The Rescue, if you remember that.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where Luke comes back.
Mm-hmm.
The Jedi that returns after baby Yoda, little Grogu, summons him from the singing rock or the seeing rock or whatever he was sitting on. Remember? And he was kind of doing the seance type of thing.
Right.
And it turns out it was Luke. And Luke comes in and there's this awesome scene with the dark troopers, those, mechanical stormtroopers or whatever, that are like trying to bust into the hull of the ship that Mando is in. They've got Moff Gideon, played by Giancarlo Esposito. They've got him held
Better Call
captive in
Saul
there.
fame.
He's in there with Bo-Katan, Fennec Shand, and who else? Cara Dune, played by Gina
Who?
Carano.
Who?
Yeah, that's a whole nother story.
She
but
got disappeared.
She did, but and then I think Casca Reeves was the other Mandalorian with Bo-Katan that was in there. So that was who was in there, kind of trying to hold it down. And of course, the child is in there too. Baby Grogu and or Baby Yoda, and then Luke appears. And I got to say, I watched that again today, and I was just as emotional when I saw it the first time. I mean, it is such a fabulous episode. It's
and it was
just amazing.
It was very. They do one thing that Dave Filoni and
Jon
Favreau do really well is keep a secret, because nobody knew that was coming.
No, and they do all kinds of bait and switch. They'll go to the lengths of, on set, like creating all kinds of sketches and artwork and things, and probably even costumes, and mocking things up for a character that'll never see the light of day, just to as a diversion.
Swerve the crew.
Yeah.
But and then the season before, of course, ended with Grogu's appearance, which was another huge reveal. Everyone was like, "Is that Yoda?"
Well, again, it didn't end. The season 1 began
with Baby Yoda.
Yeah,
because that was like an instant hit.
Yeah.
And
he
again, people were thinking it was Yoda.
He was the asset, and he was
right.
Mandalorian was going to get it, whatever the asset was, and then bring it to the client.
Right.
Who was played by, who was that older guy? He's also a director. I can't think of his name right now.
I know who you're talking about. I just can't think of it either.
Oh my God, Tiana.
Hey, Tiana.
Just threw up in the chat. Hey, Tiana.
I know, it's been a while.
She's still, I'll tell you what, she's still at it with, you really should jump into one of those challenges where they're watching, what is it, the letterbox? How many movies you can clock in a year or a month?
I'm just not in that. I started to, but it wasn't under Oh Brother, and I'm like,
if they do
one, who the hell I am?
If they ever do one where most watched episodes of The Sopranos,
that's you.
I got the belt. I'll take the belt all day long for
right.
that. So, Tiana, been a long time, probably like the first and number one supporter of the podcast.
Yeah.
Way back in 2020 when we were at the height of the pandemic.
Correct.
And everybody and their brother was, trying to literally do a podcast.
Tiana's really starting to watch a lot of 4K lately too, which I'm spoiled for 4K now.
Yeah.
And you know what's coming out? Midnight Run.
Oh, that's a good one.
4K.
Tiana, have you seen Midnight Run with De Niro and Charles Grodin, the late great Charles Grodin? She's got to have that one in her collection. And Tiana, how many movies do you have at this point? I wonder.
Now I can see her.
Yeah.
Let's see, you didn't throw her up.
We are doing well. We hope you're doing well in the Great White North, right? Great White North up there in Canada.
Cool.
Does she know Strange Brew?
I don't know. Bob and Doug McKenzie.
I mean, you can't live there and not know the McKenzie brothers.
And SCTV, the whole thing.
And SCTV, yeah.
A bunch of Canadians,
Yeah.
And we're Canadian.
We are. Canadian. We're French Canadian. Yeah, that's true. It's
you were too young though. You didn't ever visit it.
No, I went up to Canada.
Oh, you did.
Yeah.
You did.
With our great aunt Tina, and it very blurry memories. I feel like I was there when you were there traveling for Drum Corps.
Probably. I was in Montreal.
She's not sure how many. She hasn't been keeping track. Yeah, that's. I mean,
Well, it's hard to like, people ask me how many you have. And I'm like, well, if you look at like 24, the TV show,
mhm,
I have the whole all 9 seasons. So in my counter, it counts it as one
mhm.
DVD. But the reality is it's like 60 or what,
Yeah,
like The
right.
Sopranos is like 55 DVDs or Blu-rays.
Now I'm curious.
So how do you count that?
I want to ask Tiana because I don't know if she heard when we started off here. But Tiana, are you watching The Mandalorian? Is that are you into The Mandalorian? Are you caught up on that, or what's your take there? Do you get that up on
She
Disney
definitely
Plus?
watched Disney Plus. Yeah, they
Yeah.
definitely get
So I
Disney
want to see if
Plus.
she's a fan of The Mandalorian. Now, a woman I work with had come to me the other day. She stopped by my office and she said, um, because I talked about The Mandalorian here and there over the last few years, and
Mhm.
she's just like, sort of, not
Not
interested. Take
into
it or
it.
leave it. She
Yeah.
comes to my office and she goes, "I'm caught up on The Mandalorian," and she was ready. This is just before the premiere of episode 1 of season 3, and she goes, "I get it now."
Yeah.
And she's of course in love with, Grogu and the whole bit, She
Yeah.
okay, she says we're watching that. Okay. Yeah. Well, we've only got one
Now
episode so far. Now, which that's what we were starting to talk about. So we
correct.
watched it together,
Yes.
and I didn't, again, coming off, if you were to splice them together, right? And that last episode of season 2 with Luke, I mean, one of
Mhm.
the greatest bits of film, let's say, that I've seen in a long time. It was
Or
just
TV.
so great. Yeah, TV, but it was so
Yeah.
cinematic.
Right.
And then compare that with this episode 1 of season 3. I just didn't, and I've watched it more than once. I watched it again and I kind of had the same reaction. And you were really into it.
Yeah, I was happy they were back.
What did you like about it?
I I I just like that they're kind of got a story going now. They're basically he wants to become, you know, Mandalorian again. And to do that, he's got to go back to the
He's going to
home
bathe in the
planet and
in the
bathe and
waters of
right.
Mandalore. Yeah.
So I just like that they're on an excursion together. I'm taking, I think, a little liberty with the trailer we watched when we did the first look because I know
Mhm.
some things that are coming,
Mm.
but I just love the way they do something different. Like they did that parade at the beginning and then the croc comes up. And
Yeah,
I just
yeah.
thought that was really well shot and
I don't know. It
some
was only 37 minutes long. It was pretty short.
I think
Normally we
if
get
they yeah,
a
right.
double dose, or it's
That's
it's at least almost an hour.
but there's only 8 shows. So if they give away
Mhm.
2, they want to milk this for 8 weeks because I
Mhm.
guarantee you people picked up Disney Plus who had dropped it.
Well, then they probably have it timed, I'd imagine, too, to like, thinking about, I think the Ahsoka series, Ahsoka Tano with
Mhm.
Rosario Dawson. I think that is the next one to come. And so they're probably, like you say, they're spacing it out to where,
Right. So they're
you know,
not eating each other, cannibalizing each other. And then
mhm.
Andor must be in the can, right? They probably shot that all in one.
No, they were,
Oh, they didn't.
I think
Okay.
that was, I think they were starting filming on season 2 of Andor in November, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Which of course, yeah, we're into March now. I mean, I don't know how quick a shoot that is, but
Oh, if they started in November, they're done. But
I
they're not
sup
done with post. There's
I
a lot of
suppose.
post.
Yeah, yeah. And
So
to me, that's one of the better series that we've got so far. I like that better than Kenobi, personally.
I wouldn't go that
And
far.
that's like saying something because, the anticipation of the return of Ewan McGregor as
Right.
Kenobi and Hayden Christensen
It
as
was I think it was too
Anakin.
short,
Yeah.
6 episodes, didn't give it enough time to breathe, and
Mhm.
in those 6 episodes, they had 2 confrontations between, Ewan's character and Vader,
Mhm.
and Obi-Wan. I don't know why I said Ewan's character, like, that
You
was
mean
stupid.
Kenobi the series? Yeah.
Yeah,
I
Kenobi
mean,
versus Vader, we had 2
yeah.
confrontations
Mhm.
in 6 episodes, so I think they tried to cram, probably what should have been 10 episodes into
Mhm.
6. And I hope there's talk that they'll do another run. And I
Mhm.
hope they do, and I hope they don't, cram too much in again.
So this was it was nice to see Emily Swallow. Uh, really, she opens up this episode as the armorer.
Mhm.
She's wielding away on
Is
that
that
Death
her
Star.
under the helmet, or is she gonna double? Do you know
No,
that?
I think it's her. And
Because
if
you've
you
talked to her, right?
well, sort of
Sort of.
yeah, indirectly communicated with her because I sent you a cameo from Emily
Right.
Swallow,
Right. She
which
blamed
was
me
which
for the
was
lack of
awesome.
she blamed me for the lack of subs.
Yes, she did for the lack of subscriptions on YouTube. That's right. But she was yeah, that was really fun. And then she ended it with saying, this is the way.
Right.
I
Right.
love that. But we both mentioned it's always good to see Carl Weathers. I mean, I've loved him since
Yes.
Rocky, the Rocky
Yeah.
franchise, and
And he
Katie
looks great.
Sackhoff.
When they brought back when they did Solo
Mhm.
and they brought back
And
who's
if you haven't listened to or watched our episode on why you should love Solo: A Star Wars Story, go and check that
yeah,
out.
that
We're
was an
two of
old
the
one.
few. I mean, between that and Godfather Part 3, they're gonna run us out of town,
I
for
know,
being fans of those 2
but
films.
hey, we can back it up, I think. That's the thing.
I think so. I think so. Made some good
We've got the
arguments.
stuff.
Now you
And
mentioned her.
unfortunately, he went and redid 4, which is now called the Coda, the Michael Corleone,
Oh,
the
for The
death of
Godfather,
Michael
Coppola.
Corleone.
Right. That was
And
such an
what a
infuriating money
that was such a
grab.
letdown.
Oh, that
That
was
was such a
terrible.
letdown, and they spent so much money on it.
Yeah.
And we thought, "Oh, he's finally gonna do this and do this and this,
So,
do this."
okay, so Tiana says, "What are you most excited to watch this month?" I gotta say, this is one of the things we're going to talk about. I mean,
Mhm.
obviously, The Mandalorian. We're talking about that now, but Succession,
Succession. And
Succession.
if Severance ever comes back,
Hmm.
that's been gone a long time.
Yes. Now, let's see. Succession is HBO Max.
There
Severance
is
is Apple
Apple.
TV,
Mhm.
right? So,
I haven't seen
Tiana,
anything.
I don't know if Tiana, have you seen Succession, the series on HBO Max? It's phenomenal if you haven't seen it. But
Brian Cox is the
yeah,
head of this family of, kind of like the guy that just
this
got sentenced to killing his wife and
this family is
kid.
just wow.
Yeah.
But I think that's what I'm most anticipating watching. I wish there was a season 7 of The Sopranos coming out because I keep going back to that well, like more than is probably healthy for a human being.
Well,
But
that's like me and The Simpsons. I've
movie
seen.
wise, what about movie wise? See, this is where it's
I don't even
tough.
know what's coming in the next month.
Right. And we've done, I
We've
mean,
done
we've
these
done a lot of
first
these.
looks mostly
Mhm.
because we haven't gone to see any
Well,
movies.
and what about Indiana Jones? I think, Indiana Jones,
But when is
now,
that? That's
well,
not till summer.
she's saying this month. Oh, Ted Lasso. See, isn't it crazy, right? Everything we're saying is streaming series.
Yeah.
It's like films. Tiana, are you getting out to the theaters that often? Or is it a lot of like this, a lot of streaming, a lot of, the latest 4K pickup at home type of thing?
Right.
So she says she's never seen Succession, but you definitely should check that out. If you have HBO Max, absolutely check it out. It's a
Yeah.
phenomenal series. Um, but
And
yeah, those are some of the things that Ted Lasso, Succession. Those are some things I'm anticipating
for
most.
me, I wish I could think of a movie. It's too
Mhm.
far away right now. All the movies,
Well,
which
Tetris,
Tetris is coming the 31st,
it's Apple
right?
TV, but so
But it
see
is a
again,
movie.
you can't name something
I know.
that's coming to
That's
theaters.
awful.
Um, she says I've really been doing both, but she does like watching movies more at home. Yeah, I agree. I mean, these days with the TVs that most of us have at this point, or just the
Right.
setup that you can get, the sound systems and whatnot, it's
And when you get
you know
4K and you got an OLED TV,
you
it's
can
like
control the annoyance level. I
correct.
just don't like people are just so annoying in the theater.
What about here's another thing. Marvel. Is Marvel like in a slow decline to nowhere, or are they gonna make a comeback?
I don't
I
know
mean,
what is.
I thought Ant-Man
Yeah.
would do it. That's one I actually want to see, and
Mm.
but I it didn't make me want to see it enough to drag me to the theater and deal with the guy eating popcorn next to me.
Yeah, what, I don't know, what is next up for Marvel? I have no idea. Where were they? Phase 3, 4? I can't
They're
follow that.
phase 3, Ant-Man and
I
Quantumania,
pulled
like
that out of my ass. I didn't even know that
Ant-Man
they were
3
phase 3. Okay, so
is the beginning of phase 3.
Tiana says Ant-Man wasn't too bad. Now, I'm not gonna see it. I just have no interest. I like Paul Rudd quite a bit, but, talk a little bit about Ant-Man, because you were talking about the ratings just the other day between, Rotten Tomatoes and IMDb, which you put a lot more
Right.
stock in, and, it looks like those are both sort of
Yeah.
on the
They've
decline.
definitely peaked, and,
Right.
uh, it's not fresh on Rotten Tomatoes, it's not well liked by the Metacritic.
Mhm.
Um, it looked like something on the Avengers quality, like they put some money into this one, where the
Mhm.
first 2, which I like the first 2, and I like Paul Rudd and, Michael Douglas, of course, and the other characters, but it didn't drag me to the theater. I thought it would. I thought that was gonna get me to go, and then I watched Wakanda Forever, and I was really
I
distracted watching it
I haven't watched that either.
because of Chadwick Boseman. I just kept thinking, and they do pay a good tribute to him, but he carried that so
That franchise.
much.
Yeah.
Um, and I think it was predictable the way they replaced them.
Mhm.
So, but really the latest is Ant-Man. I'm not even sure what's next, but I know the Loki series is coming back.
Isn't, WandaVision coming back as well
Well, that character's coming back, but I think the next time we see her
in a
is
different.
gonna be in a movie.
Yeah, see, I don't know. What does this mean for the future of movies, man? Like the
I don't
theater
know.
experience. I mean, here we are, all this talk during the pandemic, and then, we start to see some life with, you know, Tom Cruise, as some people have said, kind of keeping the industry afloat
Yeah,
by refusing to put Top Gun Maverick out on streaming, which you could have easily done,
right.
but
And I'm
he.
glad he didn't
Absolutely.
because
And look at it's nominated.
I know.
Shockingly, it's nominated,
I know. And
you
I
know?
think that's probably a sign of the weakness of the box office as
I
well.
Yeah,
Even though that movie really has everything in it,
it does. It
much
does.
more than Top Gun
And
did.
as sequels go,
As sequels go, it outdoes the
especially
original.
a sequel that took 20 something years,
Yeah.
whatever,
And y and then, so that's
get
something
out.
I'm looking forward to is the next Mission Impossible.
Kev Grit says
Kev Gret,
hello.
hey,
What's up, Kev?
buddy.
How you doing, man?
Good to see you, man.
So, hey, look at this is our largest live stream audience ever at 2 folks. This is
Wow, that's a
just
lot.
yeah,
I don't
yeah, I just can't, I don't see Kev Grit, state of the movies, state of going to the movies, the movie experience, the theater experience. Is it
we
ever going to come back to, certainly not the levels pre-pandemic, but I mean, we
I think
just
it'll
Tiana asks us what we're most excited about. We ramble off about 5 streaming series.
I
There
know.
wasn't one film in that whole bunch.
And we were talking about Marvel too, how Marvel kinda hit the wall after
Mhm.
Avengers Endgame was the height,
Yeah.
and then it just, like, it would look like Kevin Feige was unstoppable,
Mhm.
and
You
it
know what I'm
just
looking forward to? Man of Steel, the sequel with Oh, wait a
yeah,
second.
they did announce it, didn't they?
That's right.
Henry Cavill announced it,
James Gunn decided to take a giant shit all over that,
right?
and that no longer is happening.
He decided he's the new Kevin Feige.
So
That's
Kev Grit
they
says,
changed the
I don't think
title.
so. They changed the entire game with at-home streaming. Yep. Top Gun and Avatar and Spider-Man are outliers. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
We'd
he's
agree with
right.
that. I agree with that. I haven't seen Avatar yet. Again, I have no interest. It just It's
Right.
not gonna get me to the theater. And what was the first reaction to that when it came out? It was like, the best looking film of the year.
Right.
There's no story. There's no, I mean, and
People
what,
weren't
we have
like
2 more of those in the can or coming or something?
3, there's gonna be 5
That's
total.
just obnoxious.
3's already done.
That's obnoxious.
Just, it's in post, but there's a film that
Yeah,
did so much
right.
money.
Yeah. See, this is the other thing. Kev Grett points out. It's like, even if it's a film that you're interested in, I mean, you wait a few weeks. It's going to be on streaming eventually.
It was like that
Yeah.
with Wakanda.
Uh-huh.
That was like 2 weeks, and it was on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
So I'm
And
not
you
gonna.
see more and more. Like I told you, I just binged the 3rd season of Jack Ryan on Amazon Prime, which was
Right.
excellent. And big names, right? More and more big names are
Going to streaming.
getting into streaming.
What about the fact, Kev, that there's so many streaming services?
Yeah.
Like, which do you keep? Which do you throw away?
This is one situation where I want a monopoly. I want someone to just come in
right.
and take over and just give it to
Like,
me, and I'll
like,
pay
I'll
the
come
money.
in. Like Prime is trying to advertise. Oh, come to us, and you can get all of the streaming stuff.
Kev Grit says Kiefer
On
Sutherland has a new
Paramount.
series on Paramount.
Called 26, I think.
25.
They add 2 more days. It's like a leap year or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, let's ask Kev Grit what Tiana asked us, which is what are you most anticipating this month or like in the near future, whether it be streaming or in the theaters? But I'm guessing it's going to be something.
Yeah, is the
streaming.
wife like, hey, we're going to this when it comes out, or are you like to her, hey, we're definitely going to go check this out?
Mm-hmm.
I think he's too busy playing golf, video
Kev
game
Grit?
golf.
Oh,
Yeah,
video golf.
he's
Yeah.
got like a nice setup.
See, look, you're not even going out and playing the actual golf. You're streaming golf. You're playing golf at home. It's like the
Why go get
pandemic's ruined us.
annoyed?
We don't need to go anywhere anymore.
Right.
It's
Why get annoyed by people watching you?
No, this. See, here's another good example of a film I'll never see.
Right. Me too. I
Shazam,
can't. I'm sorry.
Wasn't that originally Sinbad? Wasn't Sinbad something to do with Shazam? I don't know. What am I thinking of
Shaq
there?
did Kazam or something like that.
Did Sinbad pass away? Hey, did you see Tom Sizemore passed away?
Yeah, 61.
And he had just wrapped the film, I want to say, and 61. Yeah, I mean, he lived
a rough life.
He had a rough go with addiction and things like that.
Yeah.
So, but it was sad. 61,
Right.
Saving Private Ryan, I mean, what he was in
Heat.
He was in
Heat.
Reservoir Dogs. Oh, Heat, yeah.
Heat, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That was
Yeah,
a
that's
big
shame.
one for
It's
him
sad.
because he was toe to toe with both those guys,
Mhm.
Pacino and De Niro.
Yeah.
But yeah, like no, Shazam, because it's DC, and I do have a thing. Although totally let's see,
Steel with was that Blue Steel?
No, I
It
think
was just called Steel? Really?
Yeah, I
Oh,
think-
with Jack, and on opening night we were the only ones in the theater. Yeah. Actually, it sounds like my kind of theater
that's
experience.
my kind of theater.
That's what
but-
I want, is just me and nobody, quite frankly.
Well, during the pandemic up here, you could pay like $99
Mm-hmm.
and get a theater to yourself. Or
To yourself? You could get a theater to yourself.
Self. I don't
Like,
know where that
you
came
just
from.
can't give up the ghost with the accent. You just...
Well, I'm here.
I just let it go, man. Just relax.
I'm
and just let
here.
it happen,
But
yeah, no one eating hot dogs. See, Kev Gret, that's the infamous hot dog story.
and the pizza. The pizza was
the
the other
pizza,
one. The guy
yeah.
took just a non-sliced pizza and just started
Yeah.
just pushing it towards his face.
I can't believe the things I've seen in the theater the last few times I've gone. I mean, it's just, people are so obnoxious.
But for $99,
No civility whatsoever.
For $99, you get the theater and you can bring up to 20 friends or something like that, which I would bring nobody.
I've got a fine setup here at home. I don't need it.
I know.
I don't need it. I got a surround system.
Kev Gret's one of the few that's got the 3D going too. He's got a 3D TV.
There's something that, like, that
What
kind of
happened to that?
really got off the ground.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like that was going to be the next big thing.
Yeah,
John Wick.
John Wick looks good, but you're right. I said this to Mike. It's John Wick in space is next. Yeah, it just seems like more of the same, Kev Gret. I mean, I love Keanu and Donnie Yen, who's in this one. Is just I love him as
And they're
Ip Man.
also
If
there,
you haven't seen the Ip Man series, that's something you got to check out. That's just
there's
amazing.
also
The
what's the
legendary
name of the hotel that he
master for
stays at?
Bruce Lee. Who?
What's the name of
Kevgred?
the
I don't know where
Continental?
Kevgred
The
stays.
Continental.
That's a
That's going
good
to be a streaming series.
that's a good Saturday Night Live skit. Do you remember that
Yeah,
with
the Continental with
We Need More Cowbell
more
with
Christopher Walken.
Christopher Walken?
Couldn't
Yeah,
come up with his name, but
that's a good one.
that's going to be feeding John Wick, and John Wick's going to be feeding the Continental. So I don't know.
Yeah, there's no way this template is anything but John Wick 1 through 3. I mean, it's just
correct?
the same
It's the
blueprint.
same thing.
It's the same blueprint.
Different brother, different villain, same
different
Keanu.
car, perhaps.
Yeah, like the horse was too much for me when he was riding the horse down the middle of.
Oh yeah, he was. Wasn't that in the opening of the third one or something?
I don't know. I just remember I'm like, a horse?
A horse
In Times Square?
That used to be something Slick and I would always say. Do you remember that gag? It was always like, you know what it was? It was a bit about how did you ever just you just flat out lie to somebody and there's no reason or anything to be gained.
Did you see
it.
that TV show last night?
You see that show with Meryl Streep and the horse? Like it was always the punchline to it. I never understood that, but I got caught doing that many times. I'm like, was that Seinfeld? I stand to gain nothing by this lie.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, it does look good, but again, yeah, I think that's just the tired old blueprint of John Wick. It's time, they should go back to the rule where, trilogy and you're out. No more. Then there's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I mean, what we got? Indiana Jones 5, right? Isn't that a fifth? It's installment, right?
Yes.
I mean,
they all want to forget the fourth because the fourth was awful.
Yeah,
the second was awful. Really, we've gone 50-50 with Indiana Jones. 1 and 3 were good.
Yeah,
2 and 4 were bad. So 5's going to determine the series.
In full transparency,
5 is the tiebreaker. Good or bad.
Yeah, I haven't seen
good or bad. I run this.
It is not what I wanted.
Godfather 3.
Kev Gret says it was a 4th indie film. Yeah, believe it or not, it was.
Shia LaBeouf did his damage to that.
Yeah, we were talking about. We were starting off talking about Mando and Kev Gret. Are you watching The Mandalorian? I'm assuming you're checking that out, or maybe you're not on that bus. He went into that fridge. I said, yeah. See, I don't get the reference because I haven't seen like 2, 3, and 4. I think I've seen Temple of Doom.
3 is really, I think, the best.
Now, that's the Last Crusade, right? Yeah. Yeah, you're always saying how you like that
because it's just they're so funny together. And it looks like this new one, they're definitely de-aging because I've seen shots like a before and after shot of Harrison Ford where he's got, almost white hair. And then the after shot, it's like he looks like it's 1975.
What do you think of this approach? Kev Gret is
3-year plan lapsed.
I keep saying I'm going to do that with my annual pass.
Right. And that's what I said that before he came on. I said, Mando started and a lot of people who had canned it before.
Mm-hmm. He's talking about Indy, the time.
Oh, okay. That's right. Yeah. We kind of guessed that based on the first look.
Yeah.
But yeah, Disney, I think a lot of people just came back. Mm-hmm. And when Mando ends, the numbers are going to tank again. Mm-hmm. Unless they, I don't know. I mean, I want to see Andor, the second part.
Well, it's interesting. This gets into our whole, creatively bankrupt conversation with Disney, which,
we just did a first look of the Haunted Mansion, and that looks like a pile of.
Yeah, wait till you see that. Yeah, that'll be coming. That'll be coming out. Like I said, we'll probably get more tickets sold for the first look of Haunted Mansion than the actual film. But, they're delivering on the streaming side of things, but other than that, with the park experience we keep talking about, I told you about this. I've been out to Universal not that long ago, and Universal Studios, and I was missing on my way out. And this is in the
Mhm.
old part of Universal, right? The
Right,
kind of old
right,
section, not Islands of Adventure and all of that.
right.
And I notice the spot where the Terminator
Mhm.
attraction used to be. Remember that Terminator 3D
Yeah.
or 2D, whatever the hell it was? And we love that.
Right,
It was a great
right,
show.
right.
And it's now been rebranded as the
The
Bourne
Bourne.
Stuntacular. So, of course, the Bourne Identity, the Jason Bourne series, Matt
And
Damon.
compare that show to
Well, I told you
Indy. Oh,
this was
yikes.
one of the best shows I've seen in a long, long time. It had everything. It had stunts. It had practical effects. It had the whole stage, the whole back of the stage was a digital screen and like 90K. I don't know what the
Yeah, an
the
incredible screen.
resolution was. It's just phenomenal.
And then they had a motorcycle coming around the corner,
It's
and
so interactive
it's
and
really
immersive.
cool.
It's really, really innovative. And I said to you, this is what Disney doesn't know how to do.
Mhm.
They here's Universal. They take this what was a great attraction that they had for a long time, but it was certainly overdue to be given a facelift,
Right.
and they reskin it. But they more than just reskin it. They totally, I mean, they renovated the guts of this building quite a bit from what I could tell.
Yeah, I mean,
And
just the screen
it's a
alone.
fantastic show. I'm like, why are not more people talking about this?
And they did it during the pandemic,
Mhm.
and they didn't shut down like Disney. I mean, Disney destroyed Fantasmic.
Yeah.
It rotted to shit because they didn't even have maintenance in there.
Mm.
I mean, they coulda had maintenance people. They coulda had a crew in there building,
Wow.
you
Kev
know.
Gretz saying he always fell asleep during the Terminator show. Ouch.
It was
Wow.
dark.
It
I
was dark.
liked that
Well, it was
show.
dark. It was dark in this show too, but man, it was just really, really
This
cool.
is way different,
Way
though,
different.
because there's a lot of live action stuff. There was some live action stuff in T2,
Mhm.
if I remember, but it
Y-
wasn't that great.
Well, and now look, now Disney, right? The latest with them is this, reinventing of Splash Mountain.
Right.
And folks, if you haven't seen the Song of the South episode at Oh Brother, it's one of our most downloaded episodes. But this, so this will be interesting because there's only
Yeah.
so much you could do with the Splash Mountain ride. I mean, it's a flume ride, basically.
And
It's a log ride, and
I've been on the one in Japan, which I don't think they're changing,
mhm.
and the drop is different. Like, the drop isn't as steep because businessmen you'll see businessmen in suits
Yeah.
on Splash Mountain. It's kind of a weird sight.
There's a hidden Mickey there when you crest the top of
Yeah.
the and about
Yeah.
the way that the opening
Right.
there's a hidden Mickey in there.
Yeah.
A lot of people
They're all
probably
over
don't
the
know that,
joint.
but yeah, they're everywhere. All
All
over
right,
the
we gotta
joint.
wrap things up.
Wow. Kev Gretz, see what I gotta deal with here?
Well, I'm about to fall asleep
is it
like
past your
I
bedtime?
think so.
Yeah.
I don't know what time it is. I have no clue. I don't even know what time we started doing this.
Well, because we've done so many other episodes before this. It's like we'll be off for the next 6 months. We got all these episodes in the can. Yeah, he did. He's not even subtle about it. It's just it's one of the things that's most annoying to me on the
About
show.
me?
Yeah, is when you during the show you
what
do.
do I do
Well, there
that
are a lot of
doesn't
things.
annoy you?
Well, there's a lot of things. In fact, I have a whole set of notes here
Yeah,
of
I'm
things,
sure
but
you do.
it's
Not once do
well,
you
but
say, "Hey, that was good. That was a
you
good
do
bit,"
that. You
or
don't even give a moment to breathe and sort of get to the next beat. You're just like, all right, so
that was the next beat.
and
The
it's funny.
last beat.
It's funny because it reminds me of one of the old home videos we did where you did something similar.
What?
And I cannot for the life of me remember what it was, but
Like I went to yeah, that's New Wave Toys.
mhm.
Kev
Yeah,
Brett will know who
see,
that is.
he's right. The real show was starting when this
when we
bullshit.
start.
And when you try to play director and producer, and instead of just leaving it
I,
to me,
I looked at the time. I'm like,
crying
it's
out
time.
loud.
It's
You're going to be
time.
up for the next 6 days. You don't sleep. You're like a vampire. What do you got to do?
I got things
Go
to
play more
do.
Tetris 100? I mean, with 99 of your fake friends that you have? Jesus Christ.
You should see the Tetris competition.
Mm-hmm.
When these two guys, it's on YouTube. I think Rex sent it to me. And
it reminds me of all I can think of as you start talking about that is the Saturday Night Live skit with William Shatner.
Right.
Have you ever kissed a girl? It was John Lovitz with the Spock ears, and that was so good.
And he just kind of like,
I mean, he's
down
laying into
in
the
shame.
show.
Yeah. He's like, there's other things. There's other things in life than Star Trek.
I mean, have you ever? He just, it's so good. Shatner's just great. I mean, what is Shatner now? He's like 91 or something.
I don't know.
He just went to space for crying out loud.
Space.
Literally, Captain Kirk.
So, anyway.
I'm just gonna sit
on that note.
No, I just want to drag this shit out.
I don't know why, because nobody's gonna stick around for this.
There's nobody here to stick around in the first
place. But when they watch
this is an episode of the Old Brother podcast. Forget who's there, who isn't there.
I know.
Listen.
I'm trying to like think of myself.
If you could get mom
get
mom to, maybe hype the show up at the bingo hall with some of her friends, we might get some more subs.
I know if half her friends followed us, we'd be like monetized.
Yeah, we should do like that Happy Days episode where they did the dance off at Arnold's, remember? And Fonzie was doing like that Russian kick dance, with the
at the end.
And it went on for just days and days. And I think we should just do this until we both fall asleep.
Yeah.
Which sounds like you're close to getting there at this point. Maybe this is your medicine. Maybe this is what you need. It's like, hey, I've been really having trouble sleeping the last 3 nights. Can we do a quick live stream so I can get some shut eye? Holy shit. All right. Well, I guess Kevgret, that's I had a lot more here in the I was going to talk about underrated Saturday Night Live performers, Mike's top 5 drummer list, Mike's horrible bosses. There's a lot of Mike content here that you're going to get screwed.
Well, we'll do that next time. Because there's some good stuff there.
There is some good stuff there, but
I'll give them.
If you keep
I'll give away my
hook,
top drummer. I'll give away my top drummer.
Well, it's Simon Phillips, of course. Or is it? Is that obvious?
It is. Yeah.
That's but you were.
Obvious.
Who's one of the old classic guys?
Jeez, play with Mangione and. Keep the show, call me and we can keep the show going. Oh man.
You can't think of it?
I can't think of his name. Wow, that's terrible.
All right. Well, you know what else is terrible? This episode of the Other Podcast. Listen, you got to start somewhere, folks. And I don't, frankly, Mike, I don't give a damn. So, all right, Kevgret, that's your high.
That's your out.
Yeah, feel free to go back and see what the wife is up to.
She hasn't left. She's
maybe,
like, what were you doing in there?
Maybe you and the wife could get together and watch the trailer for the Haunted Mansion. That's riveting. You'll enjoy that. Talk about a snooze fest.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's going to do it for this episode of the Old Brother Podcast. It's been your host, Dan Smith. Alongside me, as always, my brother from the same mother, Mike Smith. And we will see you next time. Jeez Louise, folks.
Ouch.